comes out. And everybody starts pointing as soon as that ball hits the ground.
Wow.
And it will be recovered by the Chicago Bears. Second time they have been opportunistic in a turnover situation, getting the ball deep in Tennessee territory. Ricky Bell comes up with the fumble recovery.
And that's Keith Armstrong. And, you know, his special teams have been criticized in the past, but to come up with a big play here today, a nice hit there.
That's Ray Austin.
Looks like Austin got the helmet right on the ball, and it's out. And the very thing that Jeff Fisher was worried about as we look at Armstrong again there was that these guys have not gotten the turnovers. Well, guess what, Jeff? They just got healthy on you with the turnover battle.
1st and 10. Eric Kramer will hand this one off to Edgar Bennett. And Bennett is bottled up right away. Kenny Holmes and Eddie Robinson combined for the stop.
And you looked at the stats at halftime, and very similar. You know, they're really equal. Nobody's jumped out there. But the biggest thing was the average starting field position. And, you know, early the Bears were able to get decent field position, but the Oilers got horrible field position on some penalties, and it pushed them back, and they never recovered from it. Or at least they recovered from it real late and were at least able to tie it up.
2nd down and 10. There is movement, and there is a flag as Bennett takes it off to the right side. Lonnie Marks greets him at the 20-yard line.
The Oilers are trying hard to jump gaps. They think that they can put a fissure in the Bears' protection. And by doing that, they're going off sides a little early.
Offsides against Tennessee. The Bears will accept the penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
The Oilers
defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
What number was it?
They just said it was the defense. 2nd down and 5. 2 wide receivers split out to the left side. Conway and Ingram. Bennett and Halleck in the backfield. And Kramer hooks up with Ingram, and he'll be close to 1st down, and I believe he has the 1st down, a gain of 5.
You see, Kramer is using all of his weapons today, and that's another change for the Bears offense. You know, it's just not trying to look for Curtis Conway. Ingram is a guy that's really done some good things for this team, and he just works inside and stops. Oilers are going to play the zone. He just shuts it down, pitch and a catch, and they take the yards.
2nd catch of the day for Ingram for 19 yards. Brings up a 1st down and 10 from the Oiler 14. And they'll run the draw to Edgar Bennett. And Bennett fights his way down to the 10-yard line. Henry Ford drags him down.
Tackled by Gary
Alonzo
Walker.
Mays doing a little jaw-jacking with Joe Bowden there.
Very important for the Bears to capitalize on this miscue. The last time they got the turnover early in the game, they put 7 points on the board on a Robert Chancey 1-yard touchdown run.
You see there that average length of score.
Oh, Edgar Bennett gets bottled up right away. Lonnie Marks and Marcus Robertson combined for the tackle for a loss.
Yeah, Robertson in there. The 2 safeties, him and Blaine Bishop, came down and made plays. And that's why both these guys, you have to know where they're at when you're going to try to run the football. Right there, they come right there. And there's Bishop on the outside. You know, they have it shut down all the way around. They got one coming from the inside, and Bishop has been standing up on the line of scrimmage all day. Now, they've blocked him at times, but there's been times like that when he makes the play.
The crowd gets into it. The Bears 3 for 7 on 3rd down conversions in the 1st half. They're looking at 3rd and 9. Ingram goes across the formation in motion. A big hit on Kramer, and then Big Cat dives on Gary Walker, and now it's starting to happen. The Big Cat ain't done.
But you know what? If there's one good thing about that, if you're a Bear fan, it's finally they're watching out for their own. They're protecting their quarterback.
Multiple flags on the play.
There's been too many years here where a guy would take a hit like that and then everybody would stand around and watch. Back in the day, they wouldn't let somebody hit Jim McMahon like that. They'd have got pounced. And that's exactly what happened there.
The big cat pounced.
The big cat pounced. You don't let people do that to your quarterback, whether it was intentional or not. You got to take care of him.
Referee
I'm not
Ron
condoning
Winter.
illegal play, but football is football, and it's a team sport. And if you're going to be together and win, you got to take care of your guys.
Referee is Ron Winter. Delay on the Bears. Personal foul on the Oilers. The initial hit from Walker on Kramer.
Now, the play clearly dead, and then Walker comes in and just body slams.
On the offense. By rule, that penalty is declined. We have a personal foul. Number 58 of the defense penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
It's actually Joe Bowden is the man they call it on.
They got Joe Bowden. Fisher trying to find out exactly who did what when. Now the play's going to be shut down. Okay, it's dead now. And Walker came, he slams him.
And then Bowden hit Big
Bowden
Cat in the back.
he got in on it.
Third man in is the guy they got.
Walker apparently heard nothing. And Big Cat brings all 340 down. And that's a big 340. What did Big Cat say? He said, getting time down at this time of the year, I start to gain a little extra weight.
Indeed.
Gets cold up there in Chicago. Don't believe the flip chart anymore.
First and goal, Ty Halleck into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. First touchdown of the year for Ty Halleck, and the Bears take the lead.
What a call. Working the perimeter. Now nobody's thinking inside. And they just do that old quick opener. Gonna go right in there, real quick. Bam. Look at that hole. In all fairness, Ray, I think you could have gone through there. I could have gone through there.
We could have gone through there hand in hand. Casey Wegman and Todd Perry opened up a huge hole. It'll be Jeff Jager to have the extra points, and he does. And the Bears come out early in the second half, scoring in the third quarter. They're up 17-10 over the Tennessee Oilers.
It's an idea that
The second half, forcing the turnover on the kickoff.
Those boys need to learn to relax. That's an old Houston Astrodome thing, isn't it?
I believe so.
That here. This guy here, yeah, he's like
The Barca Lounger. Bears up 17-10. Jeff Jager will hit this one. Back to receive is Mike Archie. Fumbled the last one. You can bet he'll hold on to this one. Archie brings it out to the 25-yard line. Ricky Bell forces him out after a pickup of 19 on the kickoff return. Take a look at the touchdown. A huge hole.
walking right there, Todd Perry and the center. Just a quick opener.
Yeah,
and really what they did is they caught the Oilers in a stunt.
Right.
And that's what happens when you get caught in a stunt going the wrong way.
Caught Bowden in a blitz, hitting the B gap, ran it right through the A gap.
Ran it right through the A gap.
Perry turned him out.
Guess what? You guessed wrong.
5-play drive, 24 yards, 8 up 309. Ty Halleck, a 6-yard touchdown run. And the Oilers take over on the 25. 1st and 10. Roan in motion. And McNair looking for Harris, his tight end, and he's got, dropped. Jackie Harris had Ricardo McDonald beat near the 50-yard line, couldn't hang on.
Yeah, the safeties ran into each other. They were backing up McDonald. They collided. All Jackie Harris had to do was catch the football. Watch the two safeties. See right there? They knock each other off. And actually, Ray, it's not bad coverage by Ricardo McDonald.
That's how I taught him. He was my rookie back in Cincinnati.
That was your rookie. He carried around your playbook and
everything,
your lunch, and that's shame on him for doing that.
Well, he learned well, though, as you can see.
Yeah, he did. That was great coverage. You can't ask a linebacker to go that far down the field and stay with a tight end. That's hard.
2nd down and 10 now. McNair fakes the draw, and then he'll dump it out to Eddie George, and George stumbles and makes it up to the 31-yard line before Barry Minter comes up to stop him. Pickup of 6. And he could have had more had he not stumbled. The turf monster got it.
The turf monster. That's some rough turf down there, too.
monstrous.
We saw a bald spot down there.
Worse than yours.
Worse than my bald spot. Thank you. Well, that's what I love about you. You're always there to build me up when I'm having a bad day.
I'm not going to hold back.
Thank you.
3rd down and 4. The Oilers 2 for 5 in the first half on 3rd down. Dyson and Davis, the receivers. McNair to throw. He finds Eddie George. Eddie George will get out of bounds, but not until he picks up a first down up to the 41-yard line. Andre Collins on the play, a pickup of 10.
Eddie George can block, and then he can catch passes. Basically, he does it all. See him, he's right there. And one thing he said, I like to be with my shoulders square. You see there the whole time his shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. One thing you notice about Eddie George when he comes out, he's got some big old calves.
And he kicks his knees up high when someone gets near him. It's dangerous. First down and 10. McNair looking outside for Dyson.
Oh, what a catch!
Intercepted by Walt Harris.
Wow, did you see that catch?
Harris went up with Dyson and out-battled him. He did it last week against Michael Irvin.
I mean, it's an interception, but it's just a great catch. You talk about hops, and that's the kind of play that Walt Harris is giving this year.
The Bears will take over their second takeaway in the second half. They lead 17-10.
The ball. I'm watching him. And you got to be a good corner to get away with that. We saw Cousin get burned on it earlier. He just made a great interception.
Kramer will throw on first. Dumps it out to Edgar Bennett.
Good block by Conway.
Ooh. Into Oiler territory, and he pays the price. Marcus Robertson and Eddie George bang him after a pickup of 18.
The trick to being a good corner is knowing when you have your man covered and can look for the ball. Watch Walt Harris. He's got him. Now he knows he can turn and look for the ball. And then he does the second phase. He goes up, and he thinks like a receiver. And that's what's taken Walt Harris to the next step. This year, he doesn't think just cover my man. He thinks go up, get the ball. That's how Deion Sanders thinks. That's how Dale Carter thinks. That's how the great corners think.
Kramer changing the play at the line again. Had success with the audible in the first half. Almost a great catch by Ingram. Can't hang it on the outside. Denard Walker with the coverage.
You're seeing the ball everywhere today. Kramer won't be able to go home and feel bad that he didn't throw enough today. And he's letting it go. They've got the whole arsenal out. Everything in the playbook, they're showing. They're throwing it outside. They're throwing it deep. They're throwing it underneath. And then they're mixing in the run at the right time. Matt Cavanaugh, offensive coordinator.
Second down and 10 for Chicago. The blitz comes. But Bennett beats it up in the middle for 3. The Bears have scored their points today off of turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers, miscues, and the big thing, they've gotten the ball and then been able to do something with it. Turn it over. It started that way, then it starts again here in the second half. And like we say, this is the worst thing that can happen for the Oilers. Best thing for the Bears, because the Oilers go downhill and have gone downhill in past games in the second half.
The recipe: force a turnover and give it to the fullback. 3rd down and 7. The Bears 3 of 7 on 3rd. Kramer steps up, throws it long as a flag is thrown. Pass is incomplete. Looking for Curtis Conway. Conway working on Walker.
A lot of man-to-man on the field today. If you're a corner that doesn't have good jets, you're on the wrong part of the country right now.
The illegal contact on Denard Walker.
That's the trade-off, because the Oilers don't get good pressure from their front four.
Number 25 in the defense, 5-yard penalty, and a first down.
Denard Walker, because they don't get good pressure in their front four, they got to bring safeties. They bring safeties, and that's illegal. He chucked him after the 5-yard limit.
And he didn't need to. He was right there.
The speed is there. But as he said, when you start to bring extra people to compensate for losses in other areas or deficiencies in other areas, all that does is put more pressure on your corners.
10 at the top, Bobby Ingram at the bottom.
Look at, there's the 8-man just walking around Bishop. And smartly, Kramer checks off the play.
You throw the quick to Bobby Ingram, and Ingram makes one man miss. Picks up 6 yards. Marcus Robinson on the defense.
That's a good example, a perfect example of why the Bears have been successful today. We circled the 8-man, Blaine Bishop coming up to stop the run. And what does Kramer do? He checks off. Now there's Bishop. He's over on this side, so Kramer checks off, doesn't run it, throws it away from that side where the corner's playing off. That's heads-up football and good play call.
2nd and 4, the Bears at the 32-yard line of Tennessee. Curtis Enis back in the backfield. Kramer with pressure. Tip ball. A great play by Ty Halleck to knock this one down.
Yeah. Deja vu, though. Halleck's been there. He's seen that one before, like out in Arizona.
Gary Walker tipped the pass.
Halleck became the defender. He recognized the situation. The Oilers do jumping jacks right there. That was a little bit more than a jumping jack. He was coming after the quarterback, but Halleck realizes when the ball is in the air and it's not meant for him. It's just a straight tip, and the defense could get it. He knocked it down. Very smart play.
3rd and 4. 4 wide receivers in the game for the Bears. Ingram in motion.
They're creeping in on the blitz. Here he comes.
And here comes a draw out the other end. Edgar Bennett. Bennett all the way down to the 15-yard line. A gain of 17 for Edgar Bennett. First down, Chicago.
They run right where the blitzer's coming. A perfect call right there. That's Robertson. And what do? They draw right past it. Scoop.
Andy Heck collapsed that side. An excellent block, giving Bennett the seam. Bennett showed some bang. Looked like
he showed a lot of bang. But that's just, once again, great play calling. Matt Cavanaugh's in the zone right now.
The Bears are in the red zone.
Unfortunately, Alonzo Mays isn't in the zone. He twitches
He was
early.
in the neutral zone. We got a lot of zoning.
Prior to snap, false start, number 85 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And that kills your drive. Everything is working good. They got the plays called. They have Ty Halleck, who comes with a real smart heads-up play, and now you get pushed back on a mental error.
Push back to 1st and 15. Halleck and Enis in the backfield. Tennessee with the 8-man line again. Curtis Enis races to the corner. Runs over Denard Walker.
Oh, yeah, he definitely ran him over, and Walker is showing the effects. You know,
you don't want much more of that.
And that's why I think a guy should put pads in his pants right here. Because when Enis comes around the corner, and he's going about 242, 250, you need all the protection you can get.
Curtis Enis, 13 carries, 56 yards on the day.
Look at that. No pads anywhere. This play.
2nd and 10. Wet Knight in motion. This will be Enis again on the counter. Stays alive to the 9-yard line. Blaine Bishop wrestles him down. 6-yard gain for Curtis Enis. The red zone today. Chicago offense, perfect. 3 chances, 3 scores, 2 of them touchdowns.
Right now, the Oilers defense really has no idea where the ball is going to go. And that's when you know you're running a perfect offensive game plan.
9th play of the drive for Chicago. 3rd down and 4. Kramer hooks up outside to Ingram, but Darrell Lewis is there for the immediate hit. And it was a big hit.
Yeah, they knew where the ball was going that time.
He's short of that first down.
The pressure's there. And Samari's playing off. Samari rolled, but he's got some help on the inside, on the outside, and that's Lewis. Knows where the marker is and forces a field goal attempt.
Jeff Jager, 1 for 1 on the day, hit a 39-yarder in the first half. He'll line up to go from 26. And it is good from 26. And the Bears pad their lead. Chicago 20, Tennessee 10. The Tennessee Oilers, 5:16 left in the third quarter. A 10-play, 56-yard drive, eating up 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Ron Pitch, you called it the perfect drive.
Yeah, it was so good that it made that little kid cry because he's an Oilers fan.
That's sad.
That is sad.
Jaeger to kick it deep. This will be Mike Archie at the 3. Whew. Archie stays alive.
He almost fumbled again.
Almost coughed it up. 26-yard return for Mike Archie. The Oilers will take it from the 29 when we come back.
What I propose is that you let these people go, and I'll take their place.
To stop a reign of terror.
The president wants it stopped, and there's only one way to do that.
I'm declaring a state of martial law in this city.
Two men are about to take
So you put tanks on the Brooklyn Bridge?
two different paths.
I serve my country. Why don't you try serving yours? What if what they really want is for us to put soldiers on the street and shred the Constitution? We do that, and they...
A beautiful moon over Nashville, Tennessee, where the Oilers are up against it, trailing by 10 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and Archie got an earful, like I thought, when he hit the sidelines there. You know, he fumbled one today already. And Coach Fisher came over and had a couple words.
Yeah, not a good sign for Mike Archie. First down and 10. Roan goes in motion. The Bears come with the blitz. Eddie George's first carry in the second half. Gains his first yards since the first quarter. Let's go to Los Angeles and James Brown for an NFL update.
Ray and Ron, as football historians, I know you remember November the 8th, 1970, when Tom Dempsey, New Orleans Saints, boots this 63-yarder. That to upend Detroit, the game winner. That, of course, indelibly in the NFL record books. Well, guess what? Today at Mile High, Denver's Jason Elam, he boots a 63-yard field goal. That ties the NFL record. Halftime was a score at the time, 27-10. Broncos over the Jaguars. Let's take it back to Ray and Ron.
And believe it or not, Ray, I was at that game.
You're kidding me.
My father was playing with the Saints at the end of his career down there, and I sat there, and I remember my mom saying to me, I don't think he can make that. That looks awful far. And this loud thud hit, and the ball just kept going and going. And apparently Jason Elam's ball just kept going and going. And here's a guy that's not going anywhere right now.
Ed Kukar, our umpire. Eddie George ran into him. Back to that story. I was a young Detroit Lions fan. Right there's your hit on the official. Swept his legs out.
I think he got his
leg.
leg. You know, if he
The old sweep kick.
If he just would have bent his knees a little bit, that's why they teach you to stay low. Bent knee position. You got to play with your knees bent. Now, Ed may not be a natural knee bender, so that's not his fault.
No, he's a tall one.
Right.
Those guys, they're up against it when it comes to bending the knees.
You can see he got his neck whipped and everything.
Whiplash. But back to that Detroit Lions story.
Yeah.
I was a young boy, a big Lions fan, sitting on the couch, and that brought tears to my eyes, and you're down there cheering. I'm telling you, different paths.
Well, but it is something to see a ball travel that far, though.
Oh, amazing. It was an amazing kick. So you're the big Tom Dempsey fan, and I was heartbroken, shattered.
Jason Elam, it almost makes you wonder, okay, why not just put it back one more half inch?
Yeah.
You know, one more yard and then get the record.
Carl Reeves is checked into the ballgame. Sean Lee sprained his hand and may not return for the Bears on the defensive line. Eddie George. There's Harris. The backfield, and here comes Harris on the blitz, but McNair avoids him. Buys time, throws it outside, a dangerous one, and it is knocked away by Walt Harris.
The first
intended to Willie Davis.
You got to remember now, this is a guy 2 years ago that everybody in Chicago wanted to trade. They called him a bust, and by all means, he was having some trouble. But this is what happens when you hang in here. He comes back. He knows the comeback's the only play, and then he goes and gets the ball. Like I said, the difference with Walt this year is a transition from A to B. Once he sees the ball thrown, he thinks, now go get the ball.
What a break from Walt Harris.
Acceleration. He said, I work on that the most in the offseason, my technique, and then I know what the coaches want now. That's a big difference.
Had an interception earlier that led to the last Bears points, a field goal. McNair from the shotgun on third. And he'll connect for a first down. That's his big tight end, Jackie Harris. 13-yard pickup for Harris.
Jackie Harris gets a chance to redeem himself. But just watch McNair. You know, this is an all-throw team right now. They look like they've gotten away from the run. But he knows where everybody's at on the field. With the exception of Walt Harris. He hasn't quite figured him out yet.
That's a guy you want to know where he is. Eddie George in the backfield on 1st and 10 from the 46, and the blitz comes again. But George runs away from it, and he's still running. Up into Bear territory to the 38-yard line. Marty Carter gets him down after a pickup of 15. Eddie George is back into the mix.
Eddie George has that combination, but then he's got the blocking. Watch the white shirts. Nice block there by Hopkins. And then he just goes up the middle and accelerates through the hole. It's one thing to have power. It's one thing to have acceleration. But when you can have both of them, I guess that makes you a Heisman Trophy winner.
It did to Eddie George in 1995 for the Ohio State Buckeyes. First down and 10. George on the cutback. Nice cut. Back up for another 10-yard gain. Tony Parrish gets him down. And Eddie George has got it moving.
Getting back to the run. I think the Oilers shot themselves in the foot a little bit late in the second half. And when they got away from that, he said, I like the zone blocking. I like to have my shoulders straight going forward, not perpendicular. And you see his shoulders are heading straight up the field, square. That's when I have my power.
13 carries for 82 yards now. Eddie George, 5th all time. Passing Charles Tolar in the Oiler annals. George again brought down by Sean Harris after a modest gain of 2. Eddie George, 2 consecutive 100-yard games, getting close to it, averaging 6 yards a carry this afternoon.
You got to back averaging 6 a carry. That tells me one thing: you got to run it.
Give it to him. 2nd and 8. And they do. And George spits it out. This ball is loose. It looks like it's still loose.
Look at this. Somebody find a squirrel.
It is Oiler football. That was a scramble.
There was a squirrel on the field before the game, and I'm not so sure he didn't come back. And he took a hit. Tony Parrish came up.
Isaac Bird.
Watch the hit by Parrish, 37. Oh, that was a square one, too. He tried to give him that stiff arm. Parrish was the 8th man coming up, and he made the play. Now everybody's on the ball.
Follow the bouncing ball.
Looked like Bird had it, and then it squirts away.
And Eddie George got it back. Anybody could have had that one. McNair on play action. Buys time. There is a flag on the field.
Flags everywhere.
And George slides and still takes a hit.
Ooh, they went to his head a little there.
Barry Minter went head hunting.
I'm surprised Minter didn't get called on that one. Once again, the coverage downfield is just perfect by the Bears.
Holding in the defensive backfield against Chicago.
Maybe that's why it's perfect on that play.
Jeff Fisher wants to hear what's going on. So does Bruce Matthews.
You hear him?
Trying to get every yard he can.
I want to know what's the advantage.
He is an intense competitor.
Illegal contact. Number 23 of the defense. That penalty is declined. Holding. Number 53 of the defense. Penalty is 5 yards. First down.
They got Lemansky Hall with the hold.
That's what he wanted to know, the difference on the penalties and which one to decline and which one to take. Takes the one that gives him the 5 in the first down.
A first down and goal just inside the 10-yard line. The Oilers have scored in their last 25 possessions inside the red zone. This will be Eddie George for 2 to the 8.
Eddie George.
Carl Reeves, the bottom of the pile.
Reeves beat his man and made a nice play.
And that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Chicago Bears 20, the Tennessee Oilers 10. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
He didn't know what the home field vibe was like. Well, I think he's got a pretty good idea what it's like now, and he's trying to get it going.
He's got it going. 16 carries, 88 yards on the night for Eddie George. As you see,
this place is
a nice
packed
crowd here at Vanderbilt Stadium.
There are no empty seats in this stadium right now.
Little game summary for you. The turnovers and the capitalization by the Bears, the difference. They lead 20 to 10. Second and goal from the 8. McNair on the play action. Finds Jackie Harris. He gets down to the 4-yard line before Marty Carter can bring him down.
But McNair just gives you so many options. That time they come with a bootleg, a play rate that they really haven't shown a lot of today. And you would think they would show more of. A lot of West Coast abilities in a guy like McNair, only because he can move so much and he sees things very fast and makes decisions very fast. 3 tight ends in the ball game. Big third down for the Tennessee Oilers. Eddie George in the backfield. And they'll throw it outside to Michael Roan. Roan gets to the 3 before Carter gets him down. It's a big stop for the Bears defense. And Jeff Fisher knows what this game is coming down to. It's coming down to hold the ball, drive, don't have the turnover, and take your points when you can get it. Watch Marty Carter on the right side. He sniffs it right now and makes the play. That's a quick hitter. It's a good play, but a better play by the Bear defense.
So it'll be Al Del Greco set to hit a 19-yard field goal. Good earlier from 29. It is up and it is good. And Al Del Greco closes the gap to 7. Chicago 20, Tennessee 13. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, you have to chuckle a little bit at that.
Craig Hentrick, a liner. Bounds around the end zone. Milburn will have to down this one. And we will take another break. The Bears with the ball and a 7-point lead when we return. Fallen yet on the Oilers. They came back with a field goal. They trailed the Bears by 7. Here in the fourth quarter, 13:25 left in the contest. Chicago has the football on the 20-yard line.
And the premium has been on ball control. Some early turnovers have hurt the Oilers, helped the Bears. But the Bears have been able to do one thing, and that's control the drive, sustain the drive, and turn it into points. Take time off the clock, too.
First down and 10. Kramer will throw. He's looking for Conway down the field.
He's got him.
Oh, just tipped away at the last second by Denard Walker. A fantastic defensive play.
Look at Eddie George. That's how fired up this team is right now. That's what speed will do for you. It's called catch-up speed. Now watch him at the line. Bump and run. Backs off. And now Conway's got a step or two. But look at Walker just run him down.
Ball was there, too.
I mean, he ate him up. He just went and ran him down. There is no substitute for that. No matter what happens at the line, no matter what happens in technique, as long as you can run, you have life in the NFL as a corner.
Second down and 10. A blitz, and it's Edgar Bennett, and he runs into Lonnie Martz. Martz stops Bennett after a gain of 2. Next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, 2 NFC Central rivals clash as the Vikings battle the Buccaneers. Then, 2 legends of the game will go head-to-head. Steve Young and the 49ers go against Brett Favre and the Packers in a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Coverage begins next week at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox.
And this is one of these money third downs here. This is about as big as it gets.
3 wide receivers, Edgar Bennett in the backfield for Eric Kramer on 3rd and 7. The crowd is into it. The blitz comes late. Kramer will be sacked. Josh Evans gets him the 2nd sack of the year for Josh Evans.
Evans 91. He's there. They bring the linebacker late, but Evans snakes his way through there and makes the play. Kramer might have pulled that one down a little early, and that's the difference between Kramer right now and Steve McNair.
Moran, a short kick. Archie with a fair catch, and he bobbles it. This will be picked up by Ty Halleck. Halleck down on special teams, comes up with a huge play, and the Bears will take over the football. Archie, his 2nd bobble of the day.
And if I'm Archie, I do not want to go to the sidelines. In fact, I might walk right to the right underneath the stadium there and keep on going.
The Bears take over the football on the 45-yard line. They have a 20-13 lead.
He tried to catch that ball real funny-like. You never see a punt return man try to catch a ball like that.
We'll be back in just a moment. The Bears by 7 over the Oilers.
Here, by the way he tries to catch this punt, you have to cradle catch a punt. Hands then chest. You never catch it up high like a pass. And now earlier on, when he fumbled the kickoff return, this is what Jeff Fisher said to him. And this just happened to him after this fumble. Eddie George was ready to rumble. They're trying to tell him, hey, we're going to need you in this game. Keep your head in.
Archie with a jughead play. The Bears take over on the 45. Curtis Enos trips his way up for a 3-yard gain, brought down by Joe Salavea.
And that may be the biggest turnover of the game, Ray, because you could see the way Eddie George was pacing around before that kick. I think the Oilers were ready to go for the juggle.
They were going to make their move.
Yeah, they were ready. They were ready to make their move. You could feel it in the crowd. You could feel it and see it on the Oilers sideline. And it's like someone comes along and just puts a pin in the balloon.
Pop. 2nd and 7. Conway goes in motion. They run the draw to Curtis Enos. Enos with a big 4th quarter last week. Grinds out 6 more yards. He'll be just short of a 1st down.
You notice the way Enos gives Bishop a little dap there. Watch his 2nd, 3rd effort. You know, it's not yards. It's yards after you've been hit. Anybody can run without being hit. But now someone touches him. Now watch how far he keeps going after that. He always seems to lean and get that extra 2 or 3. And it doesn't seem like much, but it helps move the chains.
Kramer for the 1st down on the sneak.
And it looks like he got it. Yeah, and he does. And like I said, that is attributed to Curtis Enos' run. Because he got 2 extra yards on that 2nd effort. And it didn't seem like a lot then, but it set up a 3rd and 1. Now it's just easier to convert for the 1st down.
Yards after hit.
Yeah. What is
yeah.
That? Yeah.
They call that yeah.
And if you're the defender, you call it youch.
Curtis Enos having a big day. 16 carries for 71 yards. 1st down and 10.
Showing a little Bear defense right there. Strong safeties lined up over the tight end linebacker.
And the blitz comes. Kramer has to pull it back down, but he gets it out to Ty Halleck. Halleck cuts back and picks up yardage up to the 26-yard line. A gain of 9.
Check down. Backs out of the backfield. Eric Kramer said, I got to get the backs the ball out of the backfield. See the hit there by Marks. Nobody covers him after that. And a good job of the run after it.
Only the 2nd catch by a Bear back today.
The Oilers, excuse me, right? The Oilers are putting 8 on the line. They stole a little Bear look there. They're trying to shut down everything at the point of attack.
Second down and 1. Enos behind Halleck. He'll get another first down. Pratt Lyons with the stop.
Dave Wannstedt has to think here, hold the ball. A score, a touchdown would be primo, but a field goal would be good too.
First down and 10 from the 23. Dave Wannstedt sees his team catching up and getting that momentum back. They had lost it until the big fumble by Mike Archie. They've got it back now. They're moving. Curtis Enos alone back in the backfield. Wet Knight in motion. Trap play. Enos cuts it inside. Down to the 17-yard line. He is brought down by Joe Bowden and Blaine Bishop after a gain of 6.
Once again, the Oilers blowing not good in, the Chicago.
They've had their trouble at
second half
the end.
Leads. By far, this one not over yet. I think they're being conservative here. I think that they know they got a shot for short points, and they want to make sure they get those short points.
7th play of the drive for the Bears. 5 of them runs out of the 6. And they'll run it again. Enos pounds the middle. Blaine Bishop up from the safety, hits Enos in the backfield, drags him down, a gain of 1.
Now Edgar Bennett checks in. Whenever Edgar Bennett has been in the game, it's either been a draw or something, some kind of quick pass to him out in the flat. That's how they've used him today. Very successful with him on the draws, especially in blitz situations like the third downs have been.
And Bennett does a wonderful job of picking up the blitzer in protection. He and Halleck. Halleck also in the backfield. The Bears have to hurry. Only 5 seconds left on the play clock. They get it off. And this will be Edgar Bennett. And Bennett finds no room. Coming up, Lonnie Martz and Henry Ford with the stop.
It was clear there where Dave Wannstedt was going and Matt Calvin. They were going to just go conservative and get the points on this drive. They say, okay, you've given us the gift of the turnover. Now let's make sure we get something out of it, especially when you got a guy like Jaeger who's just kicking so well right now.
He is 12 of 14 on the year, 2 for 2 tonight.
And they kept that ball right in the middle of the field too, Ray. I don't know if you noticed that. Everything was inside. Give him a nice, easy shot.
A 34-yarder.
Whoa.
It is no good. Hooked it wide.
Now they're going to argue that. They're trying to say that that ball went over the top of the uprights. And if it did do that, then it's no good.
And it is no good. The Bears hold their 7-point lead. The Oilers ball when we come back. Tell you what, make this call. Is this kick good or not?
I'm just going to lay out and let everybody look at it. It's hard to tell when the ball is passed through. Boy, that ball looks good.
I got it as good.
It looks good from where we're looking at it.
It wasn't a 63-yarder, but it looked awful good. Nonetheless, it is no good. McNair on the quarterback draw. He's got a lot of room up the middle, and he gets lit up by Tony Parrish. Picks up 11.
I guess going back to that field goal, like I said, you don't know when the ball is past the pipes, but
I'm telling you.
And if it goes over the top of the pipes, it's not good, but that ball looked like it hooked inside.
Jaeger sure thought it was good. He does have a vested interest in the call, but I'm telling you, that's as tight as it'll get. Bird and Davis, the receivers, in for Steve McNair. First down and 10. Gives it off to Eddie George. George with a seam up past the 40 to the 41-yard line.
And that's another thing Eddie George said I'd like to do is I want to run everything downhill. And while he complains about the turf is actually his best friend. Even though he ran on grass at Ohio State, a guy that powerful and that big kind of reminds you of another big, powerful guy the Oilers used to have running the football for him, number 34, Earl Campbell. Something about this organization and big backs. They like to run people over.
Second down and 4. Eddie George shows you that power. He picks up a first down. Marty Carter, along with Ricardo McDonald and Barry Mentor, make the stop.
Yeah, George is doing it, but it comes from his offensive line. Stepnoski, Matthews, Hopkins, even the tight end, Jackie Harris, 88. They push that whole side down and allow a push that moves the chains.
Chains are moved. First down and 10 yards. 2 tight ends in the ball game.
You can look at Stepnoski, listen to the audible.
Actually, 3 tight ends in the ball game. One of them in the backfield. George on the cutback. He's got space. Into Bears territory to the 36-yard line. A pickup of 16 brought down by Marty Carter. Eddie George lighten it up.
You saw Stepnoski. He was listening to the audible. I heard him. You could hear him say something right here. Watch the way he turns to Mike Wells. You know, Stepnoski's a little guy. He goes about 6'2", 265, but he's quick and he's cagey. And he was able to turn Wells' shoulders just enough for George to burst through there.
George with 116 on the night. Goes over 100 yards for the 3rd consecutive game, and the Oilers stay in the 3 tight end formation. They feel they've worn the Bears down. They can go smash them in the mouth.
Here come the Bears.
And George will churn his way up for another gain. Down to the 39-yard line. Tony Parrish up from the safety spot will get him down after a pickup of 2.
This is the physical game we talked about in the open, Ray. We talked about one team being the aggressor on offense, not being conservative. The Bears came out as the aggressor. The turnovers helped them. But a real miscue there on that field goal. And the Oilers hung in there, even though they're not a late team, and still have a chance on this drive to tie it up.
Did you say miscue or miscall? 2nd and 8. Roan dances into the backfield. He'll lead the way for Eddie George. George cuts inside. Breaks it back outside. Down to the 20, the 15, before he is forced out of bounds.
Hey, what was that stiff arm? You see that? The Merle Campbell action there. It all starts with the blocking. Matthews, 16 years in the league right here. Hopkins, bam. Look at the lead block there. Lead cut there by Rowan, the tight end. Man on man, a hat on a hat. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Get out of here.
Walt, don't let him do that to you, my brother.
Man.
Don't try to tackle me.
He schoolyarded him.
Oh, man, he just, no, you're not going to tackle me.
George takes a break. Rodney Thomas checks in. McNair will throw it. Looking outside, he connects with Willie Davis. Davis brings it in front of Walt Harris for a gain of 8.
Ray, that's the arm strength of McNair I was talking about. You see him throw that ball from the other hash, and his setup is kind of awkward. He doesn't look like he's underneath himself and he's ready to throw it, but just watch the arm strength and watch the zip this ball has on it.
And the time he has.
Yeah. I mean, it gets out there.
Nice job of Willie Davis getting the feet down.
Eddie George definitely needs a break because he has hauled it on this series.
3 tight ends in the game again for the Oilers. And this will be Thomas. And Thomas shakes it to the outside. Stuck at the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Tennessee. Thomas ran over Walt Harris, bowled his way into the end zone.
We said it was physical. We said it was going to come down to who could punch who in the mouth. 2 Central divisions. Both guys think they're tough. And that play really typified it. Because at the end, it was Thomas against Walt Harris. And somebody had to win and somebody had to lose.
Al Del Greco to add the tying point, and he does. With 3:44 left in the contest. We're knotted. Tennessee 20, Chicago 20.
Are you
it up? And what a drive from Tennessee. 8 plays, 7 of them on the ground, just 1 pass. Eddie George had 49 of those yards, is 76 yards.
And then he goes from scoring a touchdown, tying it up, to running down on the kickoff.
Hentrick. Deep to Milburn. Milburn will come out with it. Milburn's got a seam on the outside. It's a foot race.
Great job by the kicker.
Hentrick with the angle. Wrestles him out of bounds. A 48-yard return for Glenn Milburn, putting the Bears in excellent field position.
Great job by Hentrick. Let's go back to that touchdown. This play comes down to 2 men, like we said, and it's a matter of 1. Starts with a good decision and bounce outside. Nice block there by Matthews. But here I thought Walt Harris should have gone low. I mean, you got to cut him, stop the source, stop the feet, and get him on the ground and stop the touchdown. But I tell you what, he does bring it. Watch the collision here.
Damn.
Woo. Wow. That's just 1-2 there. Like you say, Ray.
Each team with 3 timeouts left. 1st and 10 for Chicago at their own 45. Kramer to throw, looking for the receiver on the outside. Hooks up with Curtis Conway. A big pickup on 1st down.
This is where the Bears have been the absolute best. When they got to have it on the last couple drives. We saw Eric Kramer do it against Detroit. They were down by 20 when he came back. Last week against the Cowboys, they had to go down the field.
Twice in the 4th quarter for field goals to win.
They call Kramer brass because he's cool in this kind of situation.
1st and 10 from the 37. They run the draw to Enos. Enos pounds the belly for 2. Brought down by Josh Evans. Plenty of time left. And that's the trick for the Bears right now. You don't want to score too soon.
They got to think, run this clock down, move the ball. They're in range for Jaeger, but they need about another 7 or 8 to really be in his range. And I think they're going to keep that ball in the middle of the field to give him the easiest kick. They may have a shot in the end zone also.
Career long of 54 yards for Jeff Jaeger way back in 1992. 2nd and 9. Enos again. Enos runs into Lonnie March and Blaine Bishop. He'll pick up 3. And the Oilers wisely will take a timeout, forcing the Bears to go on 3rd down, saving time using that 2-minute warning. Tuesday Halloween screams on Fox. First, evil spirits are out for Halloween. I don't write this. A full hour of King of...
Now this guy here, he's going to jump out of his skin if he misses another field goal.
Well, jumped out of his skin.
I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I don't say that.
He missed it.
I don't know if he missed it.
Had a game winner last week against Dallas. .206 officially left in the ball game. 3 timeouts for Chicago, 2 for the Oilers. 3rd down and 5. A big 3rd down play for the Chicago Bears and for the Tennessee Oilers. Jaeger, if he had to kick from here, it'd be a 50-yarder. 4 wides in the game. Edgar Bennett in the backfield. Kramer to throw. He's looking for Conway. Conway, what a grab in front of Walker.
Wow. Wow. Timing, delivery, execution. They move the chains.
And that is our 2-minute warning. The Bears on the move. This game all tied up. 20-20.
Fox. And
this is what happens when you line up 8 in the box and try to stop the run. You got 2 defensive backs here. They're looking underneath. You know it's man-to-man outside. You got to win. And Conway wins with a great catch.
Unbelievable catch. 1st down for the Bears. Bennett and Halleck in the backfield. This will be Edgar Bennett. Slams off to the right side for a pickup of 2 yards. And the Oilers use another timeout. They have 1 left.
Bears have done everything right in terms of play calling today. They started out fast. They didn't go into that conservative shell that always gets them in a hole, and then they got to fight to come back. They let Kramer throw. They threw smart passes, and then they had some guys make some plays, and then turnovers. They took advantage of those.
That they did.
And now you're into Jaeger's area, prime time, and I would be smiling too. This is all about keeping the ball, run the clock, put it in the center of the field, and give him a chance to kick it. They'd like to have probably about another 5, maybe 6, but you don't want to get too cute down here.
Second down and 8. Eric Kramer brings him out of the huddle.
And more importantly, force Tennessee to burn another one of those TOs.
They have one left. Edgar Bennett to the 20-yard line.
There it is.
And the final timeout is taken by the Tennessee Oilers. Tonight kicks off Halloween week. World's Funniest, The Simpsons, 1 full hour. And then that 70s show, followed by everyone's favorite, The X-Files. All that coming up tonight on Fox following this evening's ball game.
Really, really the Bears have everything lined up. The Ducks are there. And Dave Wannstedt is saying, hey, let's keep it on the ground. They're out of timeouts. Roll the clock and then let our guy kick it through. But the key thing, they got to try to roll some more time with that clock. It's a 3rd and a long 4. Unless they get that kind of single coverage and they can make a throw, which is fairly conservative, not a high-risk interception deal, they might make it, but I'd be surprised if they went for that.
Jeff Jaeger calls himself a left hash guy. He would like the ball lined up on the left hash to attempt a field goal. Made it last week with 11 seconds left. The game-winning field goal, a 29-yarder to beat the Cowboys.
They spread them out. They got a 4 wide out look.
4 wides, 3rd down and 4.
He's checking it. The clock is going to get him. The clock got him.
The play clock got him. Kramer tries to take a timeout. He's too late. There is a flag down.
Whoa. I don't know. The clock I saw was out before he called that timeout.
5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And that's what it'll be.
That's a big miscue. Now, Kramer looks at the defense. And he's trying to check out of it. He's looking at the late stem. You see him right there. He saw it. Now he's trying to check out of it. But the clock is ticking. And that's... See, right there, that last check he tried to make got him.
Didn't see the clock.
And that's what Jeff Fisher said. We think we can get him to stem late, check late, and burn the clock.
3rd and 9. Kramer running out of time again. And he does get this one away. And he'll run the quarterback draw to the left side. Oh, and that's where Jaeger will line it up. Unless he got 1st down yardage, it depends on the spot.
Eric Kramer gave it up.
Lost his hat.
There was no doubt. There's no way he was going to pass that ball in this situation.
And it wasn't going to be a first slide either.
He tucks it, and he runs.
Led with his head and almost got it taken off. The spot is at the 15-yard line. And they will measure. A minute and 31 left on the clock in the ball game. A critical measurement, and the Bears come up short by about a foot. Wannstedt says, no, we ain't going to go for it.
You gotta
We're going to
bring
kick
it on
this
and
one.
try to bust it through.
Here's last week, Jeff Jaeger, the game winner from the left hash. Slipped down, but nonetheless split the uprights. He'll get another shot, and they got him over to the left side, the left hash.
And that's on that left hash. He must like that left hash because they've had ample opportunity to line the ball up in even a direction that Kramer went on the slide. He was clearly on that side of the field.
Jaeger missed from 34 yards his last time, although it was disputable on whether or not it was good.
They're just going to let some of this clock run smartly.
The Oilers are out of timeouts.
But even still, with a make here, the Oilers are going to get the ball with some time on it, but no timeouts.
Right, and the Bears used their first timeout of the second half.
They're first.
They have 2 left. Today's game is being produced by Pete Macheska and directed by Michael Frank. The associate director is Barry Landis. The broadcast associate, Big E Eric Billigmeyer. The technical producer, Dan Rotante. The technical director is Rick Tugman. Our audio mixer is Paul Kelly. The studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Jennifer Love. The senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Rick Camps on computer stats, and Mike Martinez, the Fox box operator.
How about our director, Mike Frank? Some outstanding shots from him today. Really getting down in
that guy,
the helmet,
I'm telling you.
showing us the line of scrimmage play.
A 33-yard attempt from Jaeger, and it splits the uprights. It is good, and the Bears take a 23-20 lead with 1:03 left in the contest. Couldn't quibble on that.
It was
Dead
on the
center.
hash. It was on the hash he wanted. They ran the plays except for the miscue with the delay of game, and that usually comes back to really haunt you in a situation like this. But I got to go back to one play by Eric Kramer. You know, they go 4 wide outs. He knows where the first down marker is. He tucks it, and we've been talking about Steve McNair running all day long and how Kramer can run but doesn't. He tucks it, gets his helmet knocked off, and gets some yards that may have been the difference. Just getting a little closer for that field goal. It always helps.
And getting to the left hash, and there was no doubt that was run all the way from Eric Kramer. And now the Tennessee Oilers will have 1:03 to get themselves into field goal position with no timeouts. Jeff Jaeger will kick it off. Rodney Thomas and Mike Archie. Deep to receive. Mike Archie would like to get a little payback. Redeem himself. Jaeger with a high floater to the 4. This is Archie. Brings it up to the 24-yard line. A 20-yard return for Mike Archie. And the Tennessee Oilers will take it 1st and 10 from the 24. And Steve McNair needs to shed those fourth quarter woes that he's had and come up with a drive.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, this is an area where I don't think he's been in too many times, and we haven't seen him in too many times. Going down the field here late and having to pull one out with no timeouts.
Neither of these teams have played overtime thus far this season. 3 wide receivers to the right.
Bears look like they're only going to rush 3.
McNair all day long to throw. Buys more time. And he'll get forced out of bounds. A late hit. It looked like Reeves. And there's a flag.
A late hit, and McNair still down. Boy, that was dumb.
Carl Reeves launched at Steve McNair out of bounds.
That was just straight out dumb. I mean, clearly, you have to be able to see that McNair is out of bounds.
McNair got all discombobulated with the hit.
You know, he didn't know where he was for a while. His shirt underneath the pad, and he's staggering.
That'll be a 15-yarder.
Number 68 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that's a huge 15er right now. It's done. He's out. What are you going to prove anyway by trying to get a shot on him when he's got 1 foot out of bounds? The play's over. Now what you've done is move that ball closer to the 50-yard line, closer to midfield. And that's what a team that has no timeouts needs.
Brings it out to the 38-yard line. McNair from the shotgun. Works the backside, and it's a lateral. This is Rodney Thomas. Thomas, the old tower pass, takes it up to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and Randy Hilliard went for it, hook, line, and sinker. Well, they dropped the worm in the water and yanked on it a few times. Rowan is going to leak out and catch the ball. Now, you know it's not this easy, right? Because there comes Thomas. You got to think something up. With the amount of distance they need and no timeouts, that's just alertness, lack of alertness on the Bears' part.
A 24-yard pickup on the tower pass.
You know they're not going to throw a 10-yard curl route in the middle of the field and get tackled with no timeouts.
48 yards is the season-long field goal for Al Del Greco, and he gets sacked.
Big
Paul
sack.
Grassmanis. First sack of the season.
Huge sack, and they got to get on the ball.
And they've got people way downfield sprinting to get back and line up.
And they got to get set.
McNair downs it. 28 seconds left.
So that sack helps them blow 2 plays.
Paul Grassmanis out of Notre Dame.
They lose the play on the sack, and then because they have no timeouts, Ray, they got to get everybody back and then clock the ball just to get it stopped.
The Oilers need to pick up 10 yards to get into Al Del Greco's range. He has a 56-yarder his career long. Back in 1996, 48 is season long. 3rd and long. Going there. Throws the out. Oh, Willie Davis with a great catch. Walt Harris thought he had it going the other way.
He got out of bounds.
But he did not get a first down. It'll be 4th. And it'll be a 47-yard field goal attempt if the Oilers try it now, and they're going to.
Walt Harris is all over this ball. He thought he had the interception. But then he knows he misses the play, but very smartly knows he's got to make the tackle. And that's a smart job by the receiver of knowing that he's not out of bounds and has to get out of bounds and can still get a first down.
The play clock down to 7 seconds. They need to get this off.
Where's the kick? What the heck? They got too many guys on the field. Oh,
it's chaos.
Was that play botched? They couldn't decide what they wanted to do.
Hendrick was set to kick it. Al Del Greco ran out onto the field late.
Oh.
And there is a flag. Too many men on the field. And then it got blocked.
They were taking a lot of time to decide what they wanted to do. I mean, it's clearly too many men on the field. The play clock's running on them. They couldn't decide what they want to do on the sidelines.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field at the snap. That penalty's declined. First down.
Ball.
Unbelievable. Craig Hendrick is usually the kickoff guy. He's got the longer leg. But Del Greco
there's Del Greco. He's still running on.
And they snap it.
How do you mess that up?
Unbelievable botch by the Tennessee Oilers. Eddie George cannot believe it.
Boy, Russ Purnell, the special teams coach there, of course, standing next to Fisher.
Eric Kramer downs it. The clock will wind down and the Bears will steal one. This is Ray Bentley for Ron Pitts saying goodbye from Nashville, Tennessee, where the final score is the Chicago Bears 23, the Tennessee Oilers 20. JB Terry and Terry will be along after these messages. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.